and welcome. So recently I have been playing a game called Sugardew Island. I hadn't previously heard of this game and I just stumbled across it while I was browsing the Nintendo eShop, and here we are. As you can probably already tell, it wasn't the best experience, and let me tell you why. So starting off, Sugardew Island. What a name. I think it sounds really good and it just really grabbed me as soon as I saw it. Just a very typical cozy farming title that I think would get a lot of people's attention with promises of farming and shop management in the description. It sounded great. Starting off, I thought character creation was pretty average. Picking your facial expressions from choices, I think there was like an excited one, a cozy one, or something like that. I can't quite remember, but I didn't really feel like they matched the description at all. If anything, they all looked a little bit just regular normal facial expressions with no emotion at all. But anyway, the clothing choices were hard to choose from because honestly, I hated every single one of them. They all looked tacky and bad. Obviously, that is a big nitpick. Character creation wouldn't actually affect my enjoyment of a game, but in this scenario, I feel like it just shows the effort and detail that you get in the rest of the game. Like, it's almost there, but really not quite at all. When you start this game, the story is that there's this island that was flourishing, but humans, like we do, we got selfish and we caused a lot of ruckus, and then we were kicked off the island and it was covered in thorns or something. And then here you come, a plucky young person looking for an adventure when you stumble onto this island. You meet this older kind of hermit man, and within seconds, he's basically like, "Hi, nice to meet you. Here's your new house, here's your farm, here's your shop, okay, bye." There's no sort of depth or reasoning, like a slow introduction into this. It's just like, bam, here's all your stuff, okay, bye. He tells you that you need to restore harmony to the island so that the animals can return. Why he couldn't do it, I have no idea. And to bring harmony back, you basically sell items in a shop. That's it. There's this magical tree that's like the source of all the harmony and the animals, and it connects to some islands. I say islands, but they're not really. And each island is supposed to house a type of animal. So you can visit this tree and accept a quest. Again, I call it a quest, but not really. And it's basically just a goal. So for you to sell so many crops to get so many harmony points to finish that goal. So each island, I think there's 5 or 6 islands. Each island has 5 goals to complete and they get progressively harder. So you'll need to sell a bit more items each time to finish the goal. And doing so will unlock you things like you get new tools to buy, you get new crops or new farm upgrades. And yeah, so for example, the pig island, the first goal is 25, and once you do that, you'll unlock pigs at that island. And then I think the next one's 50, then 75 and 125. And basically in your shop, for every 1 crop you sell, you get 1 harmony point. So this island has your farm area, which consists of your house, your farm and your shop, and like a little bit of crop area. Then there's another area where the tree is, and there's also that old man, and he will sell you seeds and animals. And then from here you'll find a couple of pathways that lead to these animal islands, which these are just small tiny spaces that basically just have a couple of animals, and you can pet them sometimes if you want to, and every now and then they will have some seeds for you. That's it. That's the entire map that you can explore in the entire game. So you'll spend 99% of your time on your farm, and then for the rest of it you might go to the tree to accept a new quest and go to the old man to buy some seeds. That's it. So you're pretty much alone on this island. There's the old man, and then there's like a handful of other people that they're not really people, they're like elemental people. So there's like wind, earth, a fire person, and so on. And they just kind of randomly stand around. They don't have any houses or like a neighborhood where they live. And what they offer is basically there's a notice board on your farm and they will put in a request for certain crops, and doing so will get you money, but it will not get you harmony points. crops. So you can basically sell your crops at this store, or you can sell them to these guys, and the difference is you won't get harmony points. You can also sell crops to the old man. I'm not sure why you would do that because, again, you don't get harmony points, which is the whole point of the game. So you can go on dates with these elemental people, but I don't think that's the appropriate term. It's called a date, but it's really just a friend hangout, and some of the conversations are just you go for a walk and it's kind of casual and whatever, and then sometimes there's just like a really super weird interaction, and yeah, the writing is not great and it's not very interesting, and that it's pretty short as well. So your shop and your house as well, they're all pre-built and pre-furnished, so you can't decorate, you don't get any furniture, you can't swap things around, nothing like that. And with your shop, you basically just pop your crops onto the display, open the store, and just kind of cash people out, and then when the store is empty, or if you choose to close it early, you do that, and then this will turn the day into night. Now, considering I believe the shop part of this game is the entire selling point, there's really not that much to it. You can expand your shop, and that just adds a couple more shelves for you to pop crops on. So yeah. Now, not only does this game not have that much to offer, but it's also quite a glitchy, horrible mess. My character was often stuck, and my character got stuck in the menu kind of option, which was a shame. I had the screen freeze a couple of times, and then my main gripe was that on several occasions, after talking to the animal thing that lives in the quest tree, the one that will give you the quests or whatever, my character wouldn't load back in after the conversation finished, and I couldn't do anything, and I had to restart my game. I lost count how many times this happened. Every time I reload, I would just have to hope that it didn't happen again when I went back to redo that, and sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. So yeah, that was a real shame. Normally, I don't really mind stuff like this, especially in a very fresh game, but the frequency was just way too much, and for far too many times I had to go back and rewater all my crops, all my animals, sell all my crops, and it just drove me a bit crazy. There is some farming and some crafting and farm customization here. So you can craft things like paths and fences. This is all unlocked immediately. You don't have to do anything to do this, and the variety is very limited. And then also the only crafting ingredients that you can actually get is what you can find on your farm. So wood, rocks, and weeds. So it's very basic. You do have these skills that you can increase. I think there's like farming, tending to animals, and like a merchant skill. And what this does is that as you do these actions, the skill increases, and for every single skill that you increase, it does the same thing. You get the same kind of reward, and that is to increase your stamina a little bit. So not very exciting. There are tool upgrades that you can unlock via completing those quests, and then these can just be purchased along with some farm upgrades that include just getting a slightly bigger house that will have a pet bed, so you can buy a pet, which, by the way, I did that and it just stands there and doesn't do anything. You can also, like I said before, upgrade your store, and then you can also upgrade your barns to get a few more animals and get some extra barns to get some different animals like goats and ducks. So essentially, this game is one big grind of farming crops to sell in your store to get harmony points to complete those quests. And these quests are exactly the same. They just have slightly different rewards and slightly different, like how many harmony points you need to finish it. That's the whole game. It just feels like a giant money grab. It's kind of like what everyone wants in a game, and it has that really catchy title that just screams cozy farming game, and it has those typical farming game graphics, just none of the passion or the effort. Honestly, if this game came out in early access, I wouldn't even be happy with it. I will say, since I forced myself to play it for quite a long time just to give it a good enough try, I did kind of get into trying to finish those quests. I do enjoy completing tasks and lists like this, but I didn't get around to even doing that and completing it since the game got stuck one too many times, and I just simply gave up because I was frustrated. So for the price of this game, which I believe was about $30 Australian, I just can't recommend it in its current state. It needs way more content, more attention to detail, and just some some passion, you know? I will say though that this would probably be a good game for a younger audience, maybe preteen, because it's just super simple, it's easy to play, there's no combat, and it's really chill. It's basically just completing a list of the same quest over and over. But yeah, that's honestly just my experience and my preferences. I'm sure some other people will love this game, and that's really awesome, but I hope my review can help you decide if this one will be good for you or not. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!